knew at this point, if we make a film to expose this truth, we're never going to come back from this.
I also would love you to cover your involvement in that case where there were them young kids that were wearing, I think, like MAGA hats or Trump hats, and they were at some public protest, and the way that the story was first told was, oh, these awful children were confronting a Native American man.
The narrative was, you know, this team of Catholic students from Kentucky, racist 14 to 15-year-old white boys.
A disturbing viral video shows a group of teens harassing and mocking him in the nation's capital.
Surrounded the Native Americans as they tried to conduct their first Indigenous Peoples March in Washington. The truth of the matter was these kids were coming from their own march, the Right for Life march, and they were told to meet on the stairs, and they were just standing there minding their own business. And their crime was they bought red hats so that they identify each other as they were in the march, and they found a vendor that was selling $5 red MAGA hats. Some of the kids had no idea even what that meant. Some of them did and just thought it was funny. That was their crime. So as soon as they were spotted on the stairs all wearing these red hats, the Native American, this group of activists approached them, created a scenario that these kids surrounded them and started chanting, "Build the wall," around these Native Americans. So it was a perfect headline to show what Donald Trump was creating in America, with now these young kids are disrespecting the original Americans and saying, let's build a wall around them. So I was furious. I bought it. And we jumped in with my team and we said, let's make a video to expose these little racists. And it took us all of 3 hours to watch one live stream that was 2.5 hours long. And I looked at my team and I said, this is bullshit. Like these kids were set up. They were so polite. If they were my sons, I would have been so proud, because they were trying to shake hands and say, why do you hate us? what have we done to you? And they're calling, the black Israelites were there on one hand calling them, you know, you crackers, you.
On the back of your dollar bill, it says, in God we trust, but you give rights. Homosexuality, man. They're still
yelling racial slurs at them. And they were saying, what? They didn't even know it was just because of the hat. They were saying, what did we do to you people? So the kids were the adults in the room. I knew at this point, if we make a film to expose this truth, we are going to perceive to be supporting Donald Trump at a very volatile time, and we're never going to come back from this.
Yeah.
You have to tell the truth. And as a father of 2 young boys, I looked at my crew and I said, what do you want to do, guys? We know the truth now. And they said, let's just go for it. And so we made the film. It's called Nick Sandmann, The Truth in 15 Minutes. And we hit send. And first death threats I got. Suddenly, you know, all this community that was once, you know, very fond of the work I did now hated me, wanted to bury me. And I actually got threats of, next time you step onto this particular land, we're going to bury you, never leave the land. And so I thought, wow, this is just so fragile. This collectivism, this tribalism, it's like, it really requires you to agree with every ideology that they agree with. It's not about the truth, it's about winning. And so we put that out, and it turns out that the legal team from that represented these boys used it in court, called me and said, we want to thank you because your video was the thing that as soon as it was shown, all the major media corporations just cashed out and paid the boys and let that case go. Because they were trying to actually dox these boys. They found out what schools these kids were applying to, colleges, and they went to the schools and threatened the schools that if they allowed them into their colleges, that there would be trouble. Got that dirty.
It kind of was irresistible as a story, because it sort of seemed like they look kind of obnoxious, them kids, you know, they're handsome or whatever. And once you're told to look at them in that light, it's easy to look at them in that light. But when you hear, oh, they were wearing those hats like someone just holding an umbrella aloft at Disney World so that a tour guide can see them, that changes your perspective. And then there's something nagging in the background. They're just kids. They're just kids. And then when you sort of have your frame reset, you're able to go, hold on, they're just kids anyway. Why are we getting all excited? What is this appetite to damn and judge that we have?
This is the face of white patriarchy, the 16-year-old kid.
Or what Reza Aslan said.
Yeah, or Reza Aslan said, have you ever seen a more punchable face? Kathy Griffin was saying, I need names, shame him, dox him. How do these people not understand the implications of that?
It was all about perspective. The kid that was confronted, Nick Sandmann, is actually very short. He was standing on an 18-inch stair. And the perspective of him looking down that snapshot that was on the cover of everything. And when that boy was interviewed, he actually said, because they said it's the smirk, right? He's smirking.
Yeah.
I blame that f***ing kid. What a little smirk face.
The center of the firestorm, what critics characterize as a smirk on Sandman's face.
People judge me based off one expression. I see it as a smile saying that you won't get any further reaction of aggression.
Now, what was happening was he had friends behind him that were acting like 14-year-old boys, you know, because they were just being silly. And so he was smirking because they were being funny. But what he said was, I felt the Holy Spirit moving through me. That drum was so powerful, and I'd never encountered, I'd always admired Native American people, and I never had that experience. But that drum being banged in my face was really moving the Holy Spirit through me. So it was the opposite of what the world saw. He was having an emotional experience, respectfully, but on the stair looking down. So he suddenly looked like this 6'4" kid, you know, menacing down on this poor elderly Native American guy. It was all perspective. And it turns out, and we exposed him, that Native American guy had done this before. It's his MO. And then he goes on to crowdfunding sites and raises $50,000 to $75,000 by playing the victim. He's done this before.
Fox News' Dave Spencer has more on the alleged incident that's now leading to a protest.
It was a walk he took at noon on a Saturday in mid-April. He said,
I can feel it in my bones. I need someone to help me, but I'm all alone. Where can I hide now? I don't know. 'Cause there ain't a safe place where I can go. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. In my town, in my town. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. In my town, in my town.
Yeah, country boy making moves with them city folk. Spitting so sick the CDC trying to get it woke. They trying to make a vaccine. Props to Sister Maxine. Taking back my time, the suckers rhymes are really lacking. Key ingredients, flavors in the recipe. No